Everyone. With the season approaching to an end in Wisconsin and a lot of Midwestern states, a lot of things that I've been seeing is people doing self-driving analysis. It's something that I do on my own time after every race. After every time with that, I have GoPro footage or someone posted a video on YouTube. Um, so I decided to go through. I'm going to go through a few races. This race is the first feature of the Wisconsin State Championship at Jefferson Speedway about 2 months ago. To give you a little background on the race, I believe that I qualified about seventh or eighth. Um, Not bad starting spot necessarily. We started P4 inside, so it gave me a good start. And then it was a cold race. It was very cold for the first feature. So we'll dive right into it then. So right away here, like I said, we got P4. We have two people, or the first two in my row are people from Cedar Rapids. So I know somewhat of their driving style. It's something that I really take advantage of is knowing people driving style. I'm going to pause it right here. I'm just go through the field really quick. Kenny Stork's on the outside, good local driver. This is his home track, so obviously going to be fast right out of the gate. Gudurski's a rookie, the 89. Chettle's the rookie in the class. So a lot of experience, but unexperienced at the same time. The 51 was a car that came out. Really didn't know much about him, but the rest of the field I knew. Right now, my goal for this race is to get up front and try to get a win. Try to get away from Ethan, Ross, Aaron Moyer, and Max McNamara, who are probably my three biggest threats. So we'll start the race here. So right away, I'm just trying to warm up the tires. Obviously, we did that in hot laps, getting the brakes nice and warm. Now here in the start, if anyone's ever watched me race, especially this year when the FC09 package came out, I've been really good on restarts. I'm not necessarily going to explain through that, but for a young driver, I would just recommend working on your shifting, getting throughout the corner, and understanding on how the car works when you're on the inside, when you're on the outside, how the banking is. I feel like that really helps a young driver be able to get good restarts, but also when you get moving up. So right here was a pretty solid start. Gudurski had an okay start. So right there, he locks up the brakes. I see that. So I know I did a good job getting my car warmed up. I go by Gudurski in that car that went to the outside. All right, now my goal is to just get my work in. So we're sitting fourth. I know I just gotta try to get to the front as fast as possible. I gotta try to put the biggest gap I can on Aaron, Ethan, and Max. So right now I'm just working the low line. It was actually working very well since it was cold out. So right now I'm just working my way through traffic. I'm just trying to get shooting every gap I can. Here I'm gonna work low. I necessarily don't clear them yet, as the car was still coming in. He gets me there. And then right here on the back straightaway, one of the biggest things that I worked on this year was staying high as long as possible. So there I shot down late, got the car under control, and was able to get down. So I was able to clear him there. And now I'm just working on Michael Weber. Michael Weber is a driver from out of state. He races mainly at Hawkeye Down. Really good driver, consistently quick. I start working the bottom. I should have kept working the bottom. It was very fast in this first feature. So I should have kept on it, but I didn't. So here I start working the top. I'm slowly picking away. I'm not really pushing the car so much. I'm just trying to keep my gap, slowly close on them, not really get killed, checking my mirror maybe once a lap to see where everyone is. So here you can see in 3 and 4, I'm taking a little bit lower approach than Weber is. Part of that is driving style, and part of that is car setup. So for me, in 3 and 4, I like to take a little, almost shorter approach to get a little run off of it. There's a really small bump in 3 and 4. If you hit it just right, it helps the car actually just kind of just flow. So that's one of the biggest thing in Jefferson is letting the car flow, especially in 3 or 4. It feels like you're gonna hit the wall sometimes, but you just gotta let it flow. 1 and 2, you wanna make sure that your left sides are on that little gray patch on that black concrete there. So right now there's that little low approach. It's working for me some laps. The car is a little cold. Right there is what I'm talking about. You can obviously tell that I'm right in that middle of right here of the black and the rumble strip. My tire, my left front tire and my left rear are right there. Weber is a little bit out more. He's also on the exit of the corner. That's going to be the biggest thing in 1 and 2 in Jefferson is knowing how to do that. Here, I see lap traffic approaching, so I'm going to try to use that as my advantage if I can. Unfortunately, in this race, I couldn't. I kind of get him in a bad spot. Weber was able to really clear him right here in 3 and 4 and on the backstretch. And I wasn't really able to until we got into 1. So one thing I don't like about Jefferson with this black patch is really hard to pass on the outside, really hard to get this car to stick. You can see that Weber pulled me. So there's about 15 laps to go. Now I know it's time to get going. I got to close that gap. We're about halfway, so I got to keep going. So right now I'm just working. I'm checking my mirrors because I know that gap closed, obviously. The lap traffic hurt me. So now I just got to keep chugging along and try to close this gap in front of me. So I'm just working here, that low approach to the inside. I believe here in the next lap or 2, Aaron gets on the inside of me. I'm going to let him get on the inside of me just because I knew he was faster, but I also knew that if I wanted to get up front, I would just follow the leader almost. And it's just one of those things where you gotta race the whole feature and not just those 2 corners. So there's 11 laps left. And right there, I really like to drive it really deep into 1 and 2. Other drivers like to really just let it flow in there. I like to drive it in aggressive. Obviously, I close that gap up a little. You can tell the car is really hitting its starting to hit the peak now as I'm closing in on this gap. Slowly but surely. And I'll play it this lap, but you can really tell in Weber's car, and something that you might have picked up on watching. Here's Aaron getting the inside of me. But see how Weber's car is really at an angle. It's really loading that rear up. He's got a lot of wheel into it. It's something that I really noticed throughout the race, and I put in as a mental note. I knew he struggled in 1 and 2, occasionally in 3 and 4. So that's something that I kept in the back of my mind. Aaron gets out in front of me. Right now, I'm just gonna almost just follow Aaron. Aaron was working the low line, which was smart of him. Something that I should have been doing the whole race. He's gonna close up here on Weber. You can see Weber there. The rear of the car is just loaded really hard. I believe this next lap we get a caution. So there's again, he really skirted out wide. Aaron really could have took advantage of that. If we didn't have that caution coming up here, he probably would have had the lead. So there's a caution. So right now I know I'm sitting P3, about 6 laps to go. Something that I noted is I knew the bottom was working. Something that I wasn't really working towards, but I knew right here on this restart, I'll pause it here. I knew I had to get a good start. I believe Max Mara is behind me. I believe Ethan Ross is on the outside of me. So I knew I had to get a good start. If I wanted to have any chance of this championship, I knew I had to get a good start. So Aaron, a veteran at Legend Driving. Max, been doing it as long as Aaron, probably. Ethan, really good driver. So here I'm just getting ready. We were supposed to go green this lap, but they messed it up. I think there was a lineup. So here, same thing. I'm just mentally preparing myself, talking my way through. I like to jump through a lot of scenarios right before I go, and then I just let it flow. Because you can go through every scenario in your head, but it's never the one that you think of when it comes to the green flag being dropped. So here, I'm kind of leaving myself a gap. I'm trying to jump it. I get a really good restart. Here, I'm shifting. Weber gets a great start. It's something I wasn't really ready for. As he jumped right to the bottom. So there, you can tell right there. I knew he was still struggling with 1 and 2, had a lot of wheel into it. So I knew I had to strike. Right now, there's 6 laps left. Okay. I knew I had to work the bottom. It wasn't really a bad choice, but I also wanted it. Because I knew Max was right behind me going to pressure me. I knew Aaron was going to pressure me, and I knew I had to catch Weber. So I'm really driving it deep. I'm really holding high until I have to dive down to be able to hit the apex of the corner. I slowly notice I'm getting Aaron little by little. There's Weber. I knew that's what I needed. Wait right till I got to shoot down, and I'm just letting the car flow. Car was really working well on the bottom. Here I'm door to door with Weber. I knew I had to push him out wide. You can tell right there when his wheel was out. I knew I had to push him out wide to get a good run here. Um, and I'm just going to stay low. I'm not going to work the top side at all. The choice being was because I knew Max was right behind me. I know Aaron was going to pressure me. I knew it's working. So why stop it? Coming into this next lap, I really slowed down a lot into one, or not this lap, but the previous lap I did. So here I knew I had to drive it in deep, drove it in deep, let the car really roll. And then I knew I had to go low just to block. And there was a caution. So the end of the race right there, I just made sure because the white flag was already thrown. So overall, it was a good race. We got the win, so can't really complain. It was a good race. Car felt good. As a driver, the one thing that you need to understand is how the car was in the beginning, middle, the end of the race. So as hard it is, as you're just focused on racing, it's one of the biggest things that you need to do to be able to tell your crew, and that's how you're going to be able to adjust the car. Following that, knowing what happens to the car in the corner. So a lot of people just remember the ending. Um, you really just got to break it down and break the corner beginning, middle, of end, and you can break it up even more. Beginning early, beginning late, middle early, middle, and so far on. So I knew that we had a good car. I think the only thing I would really change was pressures if we did change anything. Car was solid. I was working both sides of the track really well. And let's say necessarily for me, if I cannot remember the corner, how the car was, I like to visualize myself. I like to visualize myself taking the corner, going through the corner, seeing what I'm doing in my head, and just picture it and try to feel it, and then be able to tell my crew. So overall, it was a good first race. We got the win. Now this next race, I know I gotta just try to keep up with Aaron and Max for points reasons, but also to get to the front. I'll post that video as well, and I'll do some more there are at the Dells and possibly even Slinger.